Alright. I think I am streaming because I have the option to end this stream, so that would imply that I am streaming. Anybody out there, if you can hear me, please let me know, and let me know how the latency is. In other words, am I breaking up? Does it sound like somebody's hitting the pause button? Am I being chopped up or anything like that? And let me know if by playing music that changes in any way. And Lord Black says good. Okay, well, thank you very much, Lord Black. Now, what happens, though, however... Oh, I already closed the music program. Never mind, I'll just... Good audio, too. Good. All right, cool. Thanks. That is good to know. All right, now, don't want to dilly-dally too much. Initially, I wanted to talk about how I still get censored on X, and I'm going to try to get that through as quickly as possible. And since I set up the live stream to talk about that, a very new subject has come up, and that which is, how would I say, either James Lindsay is an idiot who pretends to be smart and is smart in some areas, like an idiot savant, or he is being insincere because he understands that a very large portion of his audience would either not understand what I'm talking about, that he is arguing against me about, or that they just wouldn't like it because then it'll call into question things like, let's say, their emotional beliefs about things like, we're right and they're wrong, or my religion's right and their religion's wrong, or my politics is right and theirs is wrong. And also because of a false... Well, okay, I'll explain that rather than me giving these long, boring things. Let's get into it. I will show everybody, first of all, the censorship on X. And here you can see I have been lately... and yes, since Elon took over, and no, not right away, but I mean, just a few days ago, I was kicked off of X, told that I have to prove I'm a human, and then warned that I'm engaging in bad conduct or breaking rules. And of course, when I go look into it, they do not really explain a damn thing. And I don't understand what I'm doing, that they're making them that way. The only thing that I can conceive of is that sometimes I tell people, well, if you look into their ideology and into the book that they consider to be holy, in section 9.5 or in 2.191 or something like that, you will see something that is very horrible that I can't mention here on X. Notice I didn't name the religion. Notice I didn't name any sort of ethnicity. Notice I didn't actually name what it is that I'm alluding to, that it involves things that are bad and harmful. And yet, when I do that, they still suspend me, give me warnings, tell me that my reach is going to be limited for doing that. All I'm doing is hinting towards verifiable stuff that anybody can go look. I say, go look at that particular ideology's scripture and look up 9.5 or whatever it is. How can that possibly be hate speech? Not that I accept the concept of it, but even under their definition, and by they I mean people who actually believe in hate speech, how is that even hate speech under their double standards even? It's not. But yet it happens. So I don't know if it is a algorithmic error. I don't know if there's still moles in there, woke moles that are still there. I don't know if rich Arabians pay Elon or contributed to Trump's campaign, and therefore they're beholden to it or something. I really don't know. But that is not cool. And then we have this here. I have... Maybe perhaps I should show you. Not everybody knows. I don't know if I've mentioned this on my channel, so perhaps I should show what I'm going to be talking about, which is a problem with the Culture War Encyclopedia. Culture War Encyclopedia is on Substack, and now on X. And I pay goddamn $14 a month to be able to write long-form articles, so I can have this on X. Pinned at my profile, which is at Partisan Cyclops. on X or Culture War Encyclopedia. Pinned at the top of that is the Culture War Encyclopedia directory, I suppose you would say. And you can see different subjects here. And it's like Wikipedia if Wikipedia was actually accurate and verifiably so. And I have different things here that I'm going to do. The ones that you can click on are the ones that I have done, and these are other ones that I plan to do. All right, now, what was the one that they had a problem with? I forget now, because it doesn't make any sense. Implicit bias. All right. Did I put it here yet? One of the items here is the implicit bias association test section of the Culture War Encyclopedia. And that should be right here. So I didn't add the link there yet because as soon as I finished the article, within seconds, so I don't think this is by a human because how could it be? Unless some human said, whenever you post the next thing, automatically do this. But I don't think so. As soon as I finished writing this article, implicit bias and IAT, implicit association test, then I got this slapped on there automatically by X. Visibility limited. This post may violate X's rules against, get this folks, hateful conduct. So we have a double level of woke stupidity going on here. First of all, speech is conduct. Technically, yes, I am moving my mouth, but we're talking about written words that are there in the internet. Those words are not conduct. Second of all, the whole concept of some speech is hate speech, and that doesn't count as free speech, blah, 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 blah. Now, I do understand that a private corporation does have a right to decide what they will allow on their platform, fine, but that is no excuse for this kind of dishonesty, because the narrative is that it's the free speech wing of the free speech party. Bull fucking shit. I cannot tell you, and I only mentioned what happened the other day and last night. This happened last night. I cannot possibly tell you how many times since Elon has taken over, X has done something to censor me, limit me, or whatever, and not because of curses, not because of threats, not because of anything like that, just simply stating certain facts that some people don't want to be stated. And I don't understand why we can't say what certain books say. Billions of people subscribe to these books, or 1.6 or whatever it is, and we're not allowed to say, hey, there's some things in that book that are bad. Go read 9.5, go read 2.191, go read this, that, and the other section. Apparently that is hateful conduct when it's written, or it's hate speech. Now, that's what I say here when they label this hateful conduct. That is not something they're labeling on my criticisms of a certain religion. I'm just giving an example of the sort of thing that they do. Now, this particular case, visibility limited. This post may violate X's rules against hateful conduct. Learn more. This is on something that has nothing to do with that ideology. And we could go and see that in a minute. But first, let's see, learn more. Error or something. Yeah, they did that. I'm not sure. Well, anyway, I can tell you this. When you go to learn more, it doesn't actually give you any helpful information. I just wanted to prove it to you that when you go there, it gives you vague stuff that is not helpful. But anyway, let's say neither here nor there. Let's look at what the implicit bias, what this section of the Culture War Encyclopedia says, and I went through it, and I can't imagine what it is that they're objecting to or being triggered by. I wrote this last year, copied and pasted from Substack over to X last night, and immediately got slapped with the thing. So it's not as if it's completely fresh in my mind, being that I've written books worth of material for the Culture War Encyclopedia since I wrote this. And yesterday I wasn't exactly reading it, but I know what I'm like, and I know what I do or do not say, or refrain from saying, or my style, and I can't imagine. But we'll go through it, not not in great detail though, because that won't be necessary. Hold on a second. Get some coffee. But I can tell you this: you could stick around, you could check it out, you could watch me prove it. But I'm going to tell you right now, this is some sort of weird mistake. But just the fact, and here's the whole point: just the fact that there is a thing in place on X that is ready to say that certain posts are engaging in hateful conduct. Right there, that's actually pretty stupid. It's not logical. It's not ethical. You could say, how about this? The content that was just posted is illegal, and therefore, we all know CP, that's unethical, and it actually is illegal. Hateful conduct or not, it is illegal. Not just wrong, but illegal. And so that we can understand. However, if it's legal speech, yes, they're a private company, but don't be a hypocrite. And maybe Elon is not intentionally being a hypocrite, but you got to clean some stuff up, because there is a system in place that is there to censor speech that some people hate. Not illegal speech, but speech that some people hate. And what sort of pussy, left-wing, authoritarian, collectivist, herd mentality bullshit is that? Alright? Fuck you, Elon. Clean shit up. Okay? You got rot under your feet in this foundation. Clean it up. You've got moles or something, human or other, or programmatic. All right, implicit bias IAT. Implicit bias association test is about something called the implicit bias association test and unconscious racism. And this is something that I'm just, like an encyclopedia would, explaining what it is. Implicit bias is an inclination toward a position or a conclusion, semicolon, a prejudice, unquote, according to the Penguin Dictionary of Psychology that's on the shelf behind me. It's a standard reference that is on a lot of shelves, just because it's useful, and tends to be just standard. All right, not saying it's correct, but I'm saying you can't. It's not some radical view on things. It's just milk toast. I continue writing. The Cambridge Dictionary defines bias as, quote, the action of supporting or opposing a particular person or thing, blah, blah, blah. Okay? You get the idea. I'm quoting from standard sources like Cambridge Dictionary, the Dictionary of Psychology from the Penguin Book Company, and so on. And I am not really saying much of anything other than this author says this and that source says that. And here I am quoting from the book Critical Race Theory and Introduction by Richard Delgado and Gene Stefancic about implicit bias and how they define it. And again, that's one of the more foundational, I guess you could say, works of the whole critical race theory bullshit. And what matters is that I'm just quoting what they're saying. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm not saying they're right. We all know whether or not they're wrong, but that's beside the point. Implicit bias association, whatever, and then I talk about what they say about it, and what the test says, and that dictionary thing. And then I go on to quote this paper, The Id, Ego, Equal Protection, Reckoning with Unconscious Racism by Charles R. Lawrence III in 2008, or retrospective to his 1987 paper, title thereof. All right, we can go through that, and I quote from the book, another book right behind me, The Righteous Mind by Jonathan Haidt, Why Good People Are Divided by Politics and Religion. And fun fact, I hand-typed all this. Because unless you want to pay for an online copy, and in which case I don't even know if you can copy and paste from ebooks that you buy from certain sources. So I had to type all this out. And again, this is just quoting Jonathan Haidt, who is not controversial at all. Now, you could say that Douglas Murray is controversial, but these people, he's really not that controversial. And I'm quoting from this book, which is behind me, his book called The Madness of Crowds, Gender, Race, and Identity, again by Douglas Murray, about unconscious bias training and intersectionality. And I'm just quoting from him. And there's nothing extreme written in this book. There's no calls for violence written in this book. I doubt there's a curse word, perhaps a damn, maybe. Maybe not. And so that's that. Still quoting him in different ways. And when I do insert my 2 cents, it's something like this. Notice that Murray writes they were put through implicit bias testing as opposed to implicit association testing. That seems a bit biased towards finding bias. Murray continues, quote, and then there you go. All right, so I don't think even woke progressives would call what I'm writing here hate speech. Then I go to quoting Critical Race Theory and Introduction by Delgado Stefankic again, Douglas Murray again, and this is there. Anybody who's on X can go to the pinned post. Well, actually, no, go to my timeline because I didn't pin it there yet. Go to my timeline, and one of the last couple of things that I posted will be this. And if you're following me on X, you're not going to be told about it because if they deem it to be hateful conduct, and therefore. All right, now in discussion, I have a tweet by Andy No, and if it's hateful conduct to put a post that is on X by Andy No, then why is the post there? And anyway, it's not hateful at all. It's just a post by Andy No. And another one by Jordan Peterson, responding to that. And then there you go. I say thanks, and then here's my sources, and then there's some footnotes, and then after that, Culture War Encyclopedia, see our videos on these 4 platforms, and that's it. And as you can see, visibility limited. This post may violate X's rules against hateful conduct. Learn more. Let's see if it works this time. Alright, it's still an error. But anyway, when you go there, nothing's helpful. You read and you're like, I don't know how any of these could possibly apply to anything that I posted. I don't get it. So that's that. Hopefully this was a mistake. That's what I'm hoping. I hoped it last night, but it's been about 10 hours or so. More so. It's been about 12 hours, and I wake up this morning and I see it's still there, and I don't know why it's still there. I appealed it. I explained to them in nice terms that I couldn't even begin to understand why anybody or any program would deem any of this to be part of what they deem to be hateful conduct, whatever. However one could conceive of a written document to be conduct, I don't know, but anyway, that's that. So I think that's pretty much it for this subject. I have a whole other subject to get into. It's more juicy, perhaps. I'm going to look over at the chat, and Lord Dark, hopefully, or Lord Black. Lord Dark. Alright. So, I don't know, we have 4 concurrent viewers. Alright, the next subject now is going to be about James Lindsay. And, it's a shame, because James Lindsay, he may do good work. I have one of his books here on my shelf, but then again, it was co-authored with Helen Pluckrose, so perhaps he was the guy that sat around and smoked the pot and ate potato chips and said, yeah, that sounds good. I don't know. I'm beginning to think that way, because he seems to be almost anti-intellectual. And I understand that he is, like myself, sometimes a prankster, and sometimes we pretend to be stupid or whatever to make a point. But, I've been reading most of his posts for months now, and I don't think he's pretending to be stupid. But I could be wrong. This is what started off. James Lindsay, he calls himself He goes by James Lindsay Anti-Communist at the moment, fully checkmark, and the handle is at Conceptual James, which is a play about the conceptual penis, which is part of a hoax. SoCal Squared hoax. I probably shouldn't get too into that, but if you look up SoCal hoax, conceptual penis, SoCal Squared, maybe put James Lindsay in there, put Helen Pluckrose in there, and what's his name? Shoot, I gotta look at this book here on my shelf. Oh yeah, Peter Boghossian. And that's he co-authored with James Lindsay How to Have Impossible Conversations. It's interesting how impossible it is to have a conversation with James when he is a co-author of a book, How to Have Impossible Conversations. All right, so here we go. He posted this. He's been having a bit of a disagreement lately with people like Carl Benjamin and Tim Pool over the concept woke left, which I think was coined by James Lindsay, if I remember correctly, but don't trust my memory on that. He posted these images that are supposedly screenshots, and I have no reason to doubt that, but, you know, sort of autistic when it comes to trying to be exact about what words I use, because, you know, people can fake screenshots very easily. Woke left on the left, woke right on the right. Woke left over here is an example from a person, Dr. Lori Rubel, saying, here's one way, 2 + 2 = 4, gets used as a slogan for what? It is used as a stand-in to represent and signify some kind of basic truth, a supposedly clear-cut, God-given, context-free, and objective truth. And then another one from the same person saying, practically in the same breath, 2 + 2 = 4 gets used as a tidy justification for an explanation for reasoning that there are only 2 genders, that everyone gender matches their sex, and that everyone is attracted to those of the opposite gender or sex. Well, that's pretty stupid and wrong, and I could go into that, how wrong this idiot is about a lot of that, but that is so beside the point that it would bog us down when there's so much else to get into. But that is James Lindsay providing an example of what he is terming as woke left, just what most people just call woke. And we could also say that's overgeneralizing, stereotyping, etc. Now, on the right-hand side, as an example, woke right from James Lindsay is a tweet by Carl Benjamin, or an image thereof, or supposedly. Sargon of Akkad on X, saying, the problem is that reality as we experience it might indeed be radically subjective, and until you can demonstrate that it isn't, then we are in a bind, aren't we? Now, what Carl Benjamin is expressing here is by no means a unique view. It's not new at all. It goes back thousands of years, and it's not really radical or controversial or just simple philosophy when you really think about it. And you don't even need to read about the philosophies like that of Plato, Socrates, and Pyrrho, and Timon, or however you say his name, or the Ataraxia school, or any of that. You just need to think, and I'll explain. But that is what James Lindsay is saying is woke right. Now, I think what's going on here, having read his stuff for a while, is that James Lindsay understands that in critical theory, post-Marxism, cultural Marxism, postmodernism, the political side, not the artistic side, there is the tendency to start off with saying that that it is easy to engage in deconstructionism, to the point where we could do what Rene Descartes did, which is to doubt everything that can be doubted. And you get that also in quantum mechanics, saying that a lot of things that we assume to be true are not necessarily, and etc., and etc., and etc. And then they jump from that to, therefore, what we're about to assert is as true as anything else, and because it serves our side, we should assert it as being more true than anything else, or the only truth. Hey, we just justified it, so let's do it. And they're jumping over a very wide gulf. What they're not doing is they're not engaging in what Rene Descartes did, which is to say that there's different, conflicting views of things. Sometimes we are mistaken Sometimes we're pretty sure we're walking down the road with a cane in our hand and our dog at our side, and then we wake up and we realize we never even had a dog, nor do we have legs, and there's no such thing as a cane. It's just something made up. And then we could wake up and go, I just had a dream where I had no legs and there was no such thing as a cane, and I had no dog. But here's my dog laying next to the bed, and there's my cane. So Rene Descartes, and that's not exactly how he put it, he just said that we can conceive of spirits, for example, deceiving us and making us think that blue is red, making us think that we're awake and we're asleep, making us think that there's a solid table upon which I lay my paper and write when there is no such thing, etc., 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 because we can conceivably doubt all these things, and we can conceive of situations where this may be so. Be it dream, hallucinations, and now we have the whole brain in the vat idea, which is that imagine a brain in a vat hooked up to wires and a computer that simulates reality. We all have virtual, we know what virtual reality is, so we understand that concept. Most people have seen The Matrix, they understand the same concept, that you can have a whole virtual reality. Now, what Rene Descartes did is he said, okay, well, is there something that I can't reasonably doubt? And he found that he can't reasonably doubt that he is engaging in thought. Even by denying that he is engaging in thought, he realized that would actually be proving that he is engaging in thought, for to doubt is to think. And that is the ground upon which he built everything else. Now, some people think that means, oh, nothing is true, therefore anything is possible. No. It's just, that's one thing that we can say that we know for certain. Does that mean that everything is equally up for grabs or doubt? No. As one person commented to me in this whole thread, you're not sure that if you jump off a cliff that you're going to fall and hurt yourself, but would you jump off a cliff? Well, no. Just like, you could think of reality, or you could think of the way that we think about these things as being us making bets. Am I 100% sure that the coffee that I'm drinking isn't poisonous? No, but I'm so close to 100% sure that I would bet $1 million against $1 that this coffee is not going to kill me because it doesn't have any poison in it. But am I totally sure? No. Am I totally sure I'm sitting in a chair drinking coffee? Clearly not. I could wake up. I've had hallucinations, I've had meditations, I've had visions, I've had dreams that seem just as real as things seem real to me right now. And perhaps that's not an experience a lot of people have had, but I mean, we all dream. I think we've all had dreams where we wake up and we go, wow, that seems so real. So I think you know where I'm going with that. All right, so that's that. Now, James Lindsay posted this, and it seems to be his way of saying that Carl Benjamin is being woke, even though he's on the right, because he's engaging in the postmodernist critical theory, tactic, which is to try to go, it's like a version of cosmic woo-woo. When Deepak Chopra goes, oh, because quantum mechanics says this, and spiritual teachers say that, and we know this is true, we know that's truth, so therefore, woo-woo, cosmic woo-woo, and, and he doesn't really connect up the equation. He just gives you this big, long equation, and he shows you how a couple of parts of the equation is true, so therefore, his conclusion must be true. And he's counting on people not understanding the mystifying equation, or even trying to, because there's just so much to it. Because who understands quantum mechanics and how a particle can be in two places at one time, and all that sort of thing. And really, that stuff really is hard to understand, and he uses it to his advantage, and that's the part of the whole equation that is just the question mark, and people just have to shrug and go, well, it makes me feel good to believe it, so I do. So, that, I think, postmodernism of the political kind, the critical theory, culture Marxist thing, that engages in that sort of thing. They start off with, you don't know if this, that, and the other thing is true, so we have to doubt everything. So then we're going to put forth this whole thing like critical race theory, microaggressions, and all that stuff, and you can't prove it's wrong, so therefore we're going to say it's true because it serves our side, and etc. And the whole sort of either suggestion, implication, or outright statement that everything is equally uncertain, which is not correct. That's not reasonable. And James Lindsay is so opposed to that sort of thing that he's just going to label the rational view that Carl Benjamin is taking, that Rene Descartes is taking, that Greek philosophers took and others took, and people in Vedantic philosophy took, and that I'm taking right now. He's going to label that as, well, that's just as bad as the woke left. And he's wrong. And I think he knows he's wrong, but I could be projecting onto him, I don't know. Well, anyway, I commented on that with, to say that reality might be subjective is sound logic. And by reality here, I'm saying what people think of as reality, physical reality, etc., etc., etc. It doesn't mean that nothing is real. I'm saying what people usually mean by the word reality might be subjective, and that's just sound logic. That's neither left nor right. It's correct. I mean, the only thing you could prove is the fact that you are conscious at the moment, and you can only prove that to yourself at this moment. Deal with it. And other people jump in, and we could go through that, but I want to stick primarily with what Lindsay has to say about this, James Lindsay, and I think that would be the next tab over. He took that, what I just read, shared it, and commented 2 + 2 = 4. What you probably know is, that's the Orwellian concept, and he's trying to reduce this to, look, 2 + 2 is 4, no matter how much you want to say it's 5. And that is a sort of anti-intellectual reduction. And it is also assuming too much. Have we not had dreams where, for example, conceive of a dream where in the dream you are interacting with a single person. You wake up and you realize that the character in the dream that you are interacting with doesn't really exist, but it's an amalgamation of 2 real people in your life. And, it's really hard to conceive of such a thing, but it happens. At least in my dreams, I often have a dream where a character is an amalgamation of 2 real people, or 2 different characters, or 2 different sides of a real person. Stuff like that. Now imagine you have a dream where there is a symbol on a piece of paper that looks like the number 2, and you think of that as a certain quantity, and then you wake up and you realize that in your dream the number 2 meant 3, and that you just had this weird, or think of in your dream there's a letter that looks like a certain shape, and it corresponds with a certain sound, and you're writing your name in accordingly, and you wake up and you realize there is no such letter. Now, I would bet $1 billion to 1 that 2 is twice the number 1, and that 2 + 2 is 4 times the number 1. Did I say letter? But anyway, I would bet $1 billion to 1 that it is correct that 2 + 2 = 4, and that there is an objective reality in which we can hold up 2 fingers and 2 other fingers and realize that we are holding up 4 fingers total, and all that. I could be, and I'm 99.99999 vanishingly% sure of that, but not 100% sure of that. And I know from my own experience that I've had illusions and dreams and visions and whatnot that are just as convincingly real, or seem just as real as the idea that 2 + 2 = 4. Seems to me right now. But however, those are temporary, and then you come out of it. All right, now, so that's what James reduces that to, 2 + 2 = 4. He is making a good point in and of itself, but as a response to my point, it's pretty reductionally, it's pretty stupid. I respond to James, I can hold your hand and walk you through this simple concept that even children can understand if you want to. It's not that hard. and then somebody else jumps in, and I don't know, I think maybe he might have responded to me at some point, but let me see here, I could be wrong, that might be the only thing he had to say about the matter. Let me just check in my notifications. New notifications, but let's see here. What I'm looking for is anything coming from James Lindsay other than sharing that and adding this 2 + 2 = 4 thing. There, and you can see that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was it. So, now at this point I can, if I want, I can go into what other people have to say about it, but it's different versions of what I've already said. Let's see here. Alright, maybe I should read this. At one point I say, see, you folks are so used to the woke left postmodern tactic of we can't prove that it's true, so nothing is true, therefore we can act as if our narratives are true, even though they aren't because of postmodernism. That you have thrown the baby out with that dirty bathwater. That shows that you do not grasp basic logic. That shows that you do not use the solid foundation available to you because you have tossed it out with wokeism. That's unwise, and that's a loser script. And yeah, it is a baby being thrown out with the bathwater. I think what's going on is that James, well, he certainly does seem to be jumping to the conclusion that if I point out that there is a lot that we assume to be objectively true, that is doubtable and reasonably so. He seems to be assuming that I'm doing that postmodern tactic, that I'm on the left or the whole side of that whole tactic. And I don't know if he's feigning ignorance. I don't know if he's assuming it because he's got a certain, let's say, audience behind him that likes him to be a certain way. I really don't know. But I will say that James, for months, I've seen him play this whole game of, I'm not going to explain any of this to you. I'm going to be snarky, and I'm going to be witty, or seem to appear to be so, and insulting, and playful. But if you try to hold me down and get me to explain, I'm actually going to be really immature and unreasonable and sort of bitter. And that's the part that I object to. It's cool to be playful. It's cool to sort of mock and all that. But when somebody's trying really hard to be sincere and trying to get you to understand something, and the more they try to get you to explain something simple, the more that you sort of get mad and insulting, it starts to become more and more obvious that you're actually using a smoke screen to hide that you're full of shit. So there you go. Now, I'm going to check. I think I'm done at this point practically, but I'm going to check the chat. Should have turned off the heater. I hope that heater is not too loud. And, well, you can see my browser sucks. Look, it's trying really hard to show me my own stream. Lancer, good to see you. Sluggo, good to see you. Here comes trouble, yeah. Yep. Now, I am willing to have a conversation with James about this stuff. Maybe Carl Benjamin can either intervene, or I can intervene on both of their behalves. Look, I mean, I'm not angry. I'm sort of a little perplexed. When somebody seems really smart and then you try to get them to have a conversation about something that is a lot more simple and they just don't seem to get it, it's a little baffling. I mean, it makes me wonder if the book on my shelf behind me was pretty much written by Pluckrose and had James's name slapped on there for, I don't know, contributing a little bit. But then again, supposedly he helped to write that paper with Pluckrose, the conceptual penis and so on. But then again, maybe she did that all herself. I don't know. I really don't know. What do you people think? And what do you think about the whole thing about X saying I'm engaging, or I may be engaging in hateful conduct by putting an entry in the Culture One Encyclopedia on the implicit association bias test, or whatever you call that? I don't get it. I'm going to go back to show you, in case anybody who came in late, about the initial subject here. And it will be right about here. You can see this is a article that I wrote, and I paid for the ability to write articles. You can't write anything more than a regular length X post or tweet, unless you pay more money, and then you get the ability to write full-length articles. And still, I think the limit is 5,000 words or something like that. But anyway, let's click on it and I'll show you. I finished writing this, or copy. I wrote this about a year ago on Substack, copy and pasted it to X last night, and then as soon as I clicked on post, I got slapped with that thing, which doesn't seem to be here anymore. So this could be a live demonstration or live documentation of that going away. Huh. Let's try that again. Also, I want to copy that URL. Implicit bias and okay. Well, all right. Let's see that again. I didn't get any notification about any decision having to do with that. But let's go back to where it was originally posted, where it was originally slapped with that notification. And again, the notification is not there now. Or label, or whatever you want to call that. But I didn't get a notification about that decision. Huh. Weird. Alright, well, I guess it looks like they did make a decision, I guess. So I am going to add that to the Culture War Encyclopedia directory. And under, I want to put it, I'm going to edit article. You can edit articles, and you can also, when you pay for X, you can also edit your tweets, if you want to call them that, or your posts within, I think, a couple of minutes or something after posting, something like that. And with articles, you can go back and edit them indefinitely. And I end up going back and editing these a lot because I keep adding information to them. Right, so therefore, okay, these two. So I want to like that, because I'm going to now add that link. Oops. All right, check this out. And then you go here, add the link to it, and also to this. Because there tends to be more than, well, there often is, oh, these two as well, more than one way to look up the same subject using different terms. All right, so total of 4. If we want to look up information on implicit bias, implicit association, the implicit association test, or the IAT, it would all go to the same location, which is that article that I wrote. Hit publish. I'm going to archive this, so I want to click on that. Success. It's weird they go here. Click here to view it while you're viewing it. But anyway, let me go to. Oh, maybe real quick, I'll show you guys what's going over on Blue Sky, or any of you guys on Blue Sky. It is fun. I should do a live stream showing you people what Sulu, the absurd things that Sulu is like that I have written. Silly little man.
I am an actor and I speak naturally. I don't have a squeaky voice at all. In fact, I so don't have a squeaky little voice that I over enunciate everything, and I have no idea how silly I sound. Alright, what was I doing here? Like too many tabs. What's this monkey business right here? Ah, that's monkey business. Alright, I need coffee. That's monkey business too. Alright. Oh, actually, yes. Okay, I wanted to do something like this. Respond to some comments in the thread. For example, after I said to say that reality might be subjective is just sound logic, that's neither left nor right. It's correct. The only thing you can prove is the fact that you are conscious at the moment, and you can only prove that to yourself at this moment. Deal with it. Somebody responded with, why do postmodernists like you always beg for your irrational way to be deemed rational? Why not just say rationality doesn't matter? And you see, that's exactly what I mean. You presume that this is a postmodernist view. It is not. It is basic philosophy. It is the weaponization of this basic concept and the invalid conclusions jumped to from that basic starting point that we can attribute to postmodernism. Postmodernist / critical theory, or post-Marxist. I'll just put post-Marxist and / woke thing. The difference is that I am not engaging in that. I am just pointing out the simple starting point or concept. See Descartes, for example, cogito ergo sum. And you can see that I can write along their posts because I paid $14 a month for that. Now, what is, let's see, you wouldn't know if you're hallucinating right now is something that somebody wrote in response to somebody else responding to me. They went, this other person went, reality can't be subjective, otherwise it's not reality. Well, yes, but it's a matter of what is reality. Is it everything that it seems to be? Can't possibly be everything that it seems to be, because there's such a thing as, say, optical illusions. They go on, we definitely can perceive reality differently for various reasons, but objective, verifiable reality can't be changed with your mind. Well, that is true. Yes, this me respond, yes. However, what exactly is real and what is not, and how can we be sure, or can we be sure of anything other than that we are earthly conscious? And then a person responded to that person with, how wouldn't know? I think they mean, oh no, they responded, you wouldn't know if you were hallucinating right now. And somebody responded to that with, hallucinations don't change reality. Somebody else, and that other person responded with, the point is you don't know for certain what is reality. You could be a brain in a vat. This could be a dream. If it were you, you wouldn't know. And as I'm going to write, yes, this person gets it and is using the common metaphor of the brain in the vat because this is just rudimentary philosophy. Kind of just basic entry level philosophy. He gets it. Now, maybe the other person does too. We haven't given them a chance to define what they mean by reality in this context. Now, let's see any other. I'm not going to go into everything, but let's see here. This person is one person who, unlike James Lindsay, is trying to be reasonable. That's appreciable. I don't think I'm using that word correctly. Is that used in outside of philosophy? I mean, outside of economics, appreciable. I mean, it's something that I can appreciate. Let's see here. Anyway, after my initial response to James Lindsay saying that reality might be subjective is just sound, and it's neither left nor right, it's correct. The only thing you can prove is that you are conscious at the moment, and you can only prove that to yourself at this moment. Deal with it. This person, conservasite, responding, can one be in two places at once? No. No. Then reality is not subjective. And I respond, how do you know? I mean, it's possible to have a dream that you could be in two places at once and wake up and you realize how absurd that is. It's possible to have a dream. Or is it possible that right now we're sitting here thinking it's absurd to say that you could be in more than one place at one time? What if we wake up in a second from now and go, wow, I had this weird dream where you can only be in one place at one time. What a weird concept. And which is why I responded, ever have a dream? They responded, sure. The mind is a thing of wonder and imagination. Is there truth? I respond, yes. They respond, how do you know? I respond, I know that there is at least one truth because it is self-evident. Consciousness exists, at least at the moment. To deny that is to demonstrate that it is true. They responded with, cool, then we agree that reality isn't subjective, quote-unquote, but objective, quote-unquote. And I respond, maybe. It depends on what you mean by the term. If reality could be defined as that which is real, then yes, the reality that I am aware at this moment is real. They responded, okay, then this may unkink that, quote-unquote, maybe. Does the Earth exist, even if all humans disappeared from it? If the Earth remains sans humanity, then reality remains, quote-unquote, objectively, despite humans to consciously able to observe it. I think we know what they mean. I responded, a more logical question would be, quote, does anything other than my awareness at this moment have an objective reality? If I were to stop being aware of what seems to be a phone in my hand at this moment, would that phone still exist? Does it exist in any objective sense, or is it part of a dream I am having? Is it a hallucination, quote unquote? Their response is, except logic doesn't have to be overly complicated. If you disappeared, would the grass under your feet also vanish? One can tack on any number of loaded qualifiers until one can come to a preferred conclusion, of course. I responded, if you dream that there is square and purple grass beneath your feet, will that square and purple grass exist when the dream ends? You see, I'm trying to get them to back up to first principles, because this person has piled a little bit on top of a little bit of an assuming going on here, instead of doubting everything that could be reasonably doubted, like Rene Descartes and so on. They respond, since you are dreaming, that is inside your own mind and thoughts, no. That's akin to someone imagining a bison being made of Swiss cheese in front of them, then having it appear just because they stopped thinking on it. I don't think that's, I think they mistyped something there. Because otherwise I don't understand what they mean. I responded, a bison made of cheese would appear when they stop thinking about it. I don't think I get what what you are saying here. Could you rephrase? They responded, sure. You're arguing that a dream, square, and purple grass would continue to exist if you stopped dreaming it. No. They continue, you daydreaming a Swiss cheese bison in front of you wouldn't exist if you stopped daydreaming. Ergo, dreams are not reality but a product of the mind. Alright. No, I am not arguing that a dream I'm not arguing that a dream square progress would continue to exist if you stop dreaming it. Now, nope. I am calling into question the reality of anything other than consciousness and calling it, I'm calling into question the reality of anything other than consciousness. And notice I'm not even saying permanent consciousness because, you could say consciousness is real, but what if it stopped being real in the next moment? Or at least to you. Now, and there are times where we have no consciousness and then we regain it. There's moments of being, total not thinking. And then, you come back from it, and guess what? It's not painful, it's not bad, it's not horrible. Being blank and black and not thinking at all is actually rest. It's called dreaming. Dreamless sleep, the best kind. Now, me saying you're not understanding the point to somebody, they say, no, I am not. I think they mean to say, yes, I am. Okay. Anyway. This is getting silly. Noise in the signal. Compromising the signal. Let me look at the live stream. And I've been going for an hour and 4 minutes now. And I think I'm going to, pretty much consider this the end of the live stream. Maybe from here on out, I'm just going to sort of sip coffee and respond to any comments. A couple of things I wanted to share with a couple of folks. Notice over at the Culture War Encyclopedia, I do have a section that unfortunately grows all the time called Left-Wingers and Right-Wingers Against Liberty. And this mostly has to do with free speech, although sometimes has to do with lockdowns and mandates and other violations of our human rights as enshrined in the Bill of Rights of our United States Constitution. And I give chronologically various examples, and no, it's not all the left that are into doing that sort of thing. Democrat Ted Lieu is an example of Democrats saying he would love to regulate speech. He bemoans the U.S. Constitution that prohibits him from doing so. At least that's how Fox News headlined that. Now, of course, you could click on and see for yourself exactly what he said and what way, but I do quote him right here. I listened to it and I typed it out. But don't believe me, watch the video, listen for yourself. And now we got Julian Assange. Now that's an example of a failure on free speech on Trump's part. He should have pardoned Assange immediately. He should have done whatever, pardon Assange, it's not the right way to put it. He should have done what he had to do to get Assange to be, whether they use the word pardon in those foreign governments or not, I don't know. But the fact that Julian Assange was treated the way he was shows that we are not serious about free speech, or at least that we don't put enough pressure on people, even people like Trump, and demand so strongly that we get results immediately about things like that. There is no excuse for a society wherein somebody like Julian Assange can be treated the way he is treated, when all he is doing is exposing the corruption of those who oppress us. No excuse. So Trump could go fuck himself for that. Now, and also for not doing what he could during the lockdown era. People say, oh, he can only do so much or whatever. Well, he had a voice. He had every right as a president of the United States to talk to the American people and say this is not okay. It's against the Constitution. It's against the rights, the human rights that we already have before those rights were written down in the Constitution, because that's all it is. The Constitution doesn't grant any rights. It describes what rights the government can, what the rights are, and says that the government can't violate them. It gives justification for the government to exist under the proviso that they don't violate these rights that already existed, that are just being enumerated in the Bill of Rights. And there is no excuse for any violation of that. Any government that does violate any of those rights in any way is automatically illegitimate and are now just an occupying an oppressive force that has no right to exist. You get this article, Free Speech is Killing Us, from, what is this, New York Times. They can go fuck themselves. You have Donald J. Trump here saying, so with the revelation of massive widespread fraud and deception, in working closely with big tech companies, the DNC and the Democrat Party, do you throw out the presidential election results of 2020 out? Or do you throw the presidential election results of 2020 out and declare the rightful winner? Or do you have a new election, a mass, fraud, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so then they took that off Truth Social. I went and I checked. I got to go into an archive to get this. And I think that was just Trump choosing to do that because that's his platform. I don't know. Anyway, I can't see how anybody else could have made that decision other than Trump himself, but I could be wrong about that. Elections are bad for democracy, says New York Times. Anyway, my point is that I have this growing collection, most of it chronologically, unless I have to mention things retroactively, of various examples of both the left and the right being against free speech, and a lot of them, increasingly so as time goes on, is coming from the UK. People being arrested left and right for hurting feelings, for making somebody feel anxious is the latest one. They drive around, the damn police over there, the traitors drive around with stuff like this, a big truck with a big, expensive electronic display saying being offensive is an offense. Merseyside police stand with and support the LGBTLMNOQ WXYZ community and will not tolerate hate crime on any level. Come and speak to hashtag Team Beb or Bob, maybe. Can't read that. Disgusting. And other examples here. Let's see here. I want to go down to. Let's see here. How about this one? Yeah, this is a policeman showing up at people's doors or their stands telling you can't see that, even though there's no clear stated laws against it. They're just, for some reason, they're given the power to just, when they feel like it, show up and say, look, you didn't do anything illegal, but we're going to treat it as if you did. Here's one here. British police arrest an old man after his social media post caused anxiety for someone. And as the man says, as they're arresting him, he's like, well, what about me? I have anxiety for the fact that person caused me anxiety and I responded to them. So why aren't you arresting them? Oh, well, and then it's feeling typical clay brain police talk of, oh, sir, I can't really think that far, so we have a warrant for your arrest. My response to that is, why does it seem like the Brits have lost all will to resist evil? They selfishly sacrifice the futures of their offspring. It's disgusting. Maybe a civilized nation should rescue their children. I also wrote, if you Brits would care enough about your offspring and their future, you must disown, divorce, and otherwise shun all police, be they neighbors, friends, fellow church members, spouses, parents, or whatever. You must make them, I meant to write, stop being evil traitors. Shame them. And that is the latest one that came out just yesterday. I'm sure if I go on X right now, I'll find more examples, and I do want to document them. I just wish they didn't exist. Okay, I'm done archiving that. Okay, yet again, I'm going to check the live stream. And it looks like I only have one of you watching right now. Anyway, that's another thing. Speaking about being censored, man, check it out. 15 million views on my YouTube channel. 23 to 25,000 subscribers. It goes up and down. Even when I don't put videos out, so it's a little fishy. And I am very often suspended, definitely shadow banned. People tell me over and over and over again in the comments section, like, I had no idea you made videos for the last 3 years because I just thought you stopped, even though because I didn't get any notifications like I'm supposed to. I even proved it. I quantified it. I made something about 20 different accounts. All of them were set to receive any notification from my channel. And I put out a couple of videos, checked all these different accounts, and something like 40% of them were notified, the others were not. I then sent that proof over to the YouTube team, and they said it's pretty much something to the effect of, well, you engage in hate speech, so shut up. And that's what you get. Yeah. And I didn't expect this sort of crap over at X. And again, maybe this is just some sort of bug in the system. However, why does that bug exist? Why would anything be deemed, anything posted be deemed hateful conduct? Conduct is a stupid word to use in this context. Hateful is a stupid word to be using in this context. Because it's a false narrative that hate speech isn't speech. That's stupid. That's like saying the color red isn't a color. Anyway, so that's that. I think it shall be time for me to go. I am happy about the fact that they did remove that notification, and not happy that it ever happened, or that it's possible for it to ever happen in the future. I'm not happy that I still get censored on X for criticizing a religion even when I don't name it, or even say what it is that is bad about it. But just direct people to research. I think it's engaging in hateful conduct to tell people, look, you might want to look into what it says in the book that is considered holy by this ideology. That is hateful conduct. Fuck you, X. Anyway, everybody, peace, love, freedom, and equality. Liberty, strength, honor, justice, truth, love, and laughter to you all. Thanks for tuning in.